Hey, lovely beings.
Hey,
Welcome, welcome. We're here together again for a new episode of the Human Light Bulbs podcast. Welcome, welcome. And today is with Adam Mellor. Welcome, Adam.
thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yay. And Adam, I'm gonna be talking today about like books and publishing books. And not only is a writer, he's also a publisher. And I really like books. I love books. I also wrote books. I wrote now 9 books alone and together with my partner, all to help people and to support people. And my first book was like Whispers of the New Earth, and that's published by the publishing company from Adam, Seerendip Publishing. And I'm also very excited to talk today about all of this. And can you tell me, Adam, when did you know like you wanted to be a writer?
Well, as far as writing, so in my case, I've always been a storyteller. So even when I was a kid, I would tell my siblings stories. Like I have one brother and 4 sisters, and so they just loved it when they were little. I'd sit them down and I'd tell them stories and stuff. And um, from there, in my case, what happened was when this is a couple years ago, I wanted to publish my self-help book. And I was, just writing and working on it and looking at the publishing industry. And what I thought before I got started was that, I assumed you would reach out to a publisher, they'd get back to you promptly and you could, ask them questions and they'd answer your questions. But instead, a lot of what I ran into was, you'd contact them, there'd be no reply, or, something would just feel off. You'd look at, I don't know, the website or something and just I also really didn't like what I saw on social media. At the time, I was on Twitter a lot, and you'd have people on Twitter just screaming into the void, trying to find, a publisher or an agent. And it kind of frustrated me. I was like, why do I need an agent in order to, query the publisher? I wanted to represent myself. And so I'm just looking at what's happening, and I didn't like it at all. And there's a lot of really bad publishers that were just blasting Facebook. And I was kind of like looking for the company that I wanted, and I eventually created the company I wanted but couldn't find. And so, it was kind of funny. My desire to publish my self-help book was one of the main reasons that I started my company. And the other thing that really pushed it forward is I had this friend, and he wanted to publish his book, and this was actually before we met. And he, was querying publishers, and one of them accepted him. He's all excited. They published his book. The only problem was they charged him almost $5,000 and then didn't market his book at all. And it honestly didn't look right. It was like the wrong size, and it was flimsy, and the cover was messed up. And when he tried contacting them, they wanted him to pay more money to fix the book. So he, the author, is reporting that something is wrong with his book, and they wanted him to pay a whole bunch of money to fix it. And it wasn't just like, he's being nitpicky. I mean, it really didn't look right. And from that, when I talked to him, he was basically scammed, is what happened. And I was like, all right, I can't take it. I'm starting my company. And so, I started the company, published my own book, started publishing other authors' books. And I love it because I run my company based off of, what I had been looking for when I wanted to publish my book. And I think a lot of other authors like it as well. And so that's kind of my origin story. And it's been the best thing ever. I just love it.
Oh, that's nice. And you said also like yeah, you had like self-help book, but you also read a lot of self-help books, so you really wanted to yeah, make your own. And I really like the name the name of your book. How to Deal with Idiots. Yeah, I think How to Deal with Idiots is like I think it's a brilliant
Let me grab a copy. It's right over here.
it's a that's a manual everybody wants to learn right now.
Yeah, so this is it. It's how to deal with stupid. And it was great. I'm kind of sad to admit this because I'm a really nice guy, but one time I had somebody they were this happens to me a lot. People will reach out on social media or email, and they basically what they want is they want to promote my products, which is fine, but they never start that way. They always want like a link to my book or the book that they have already read, which I know they haven't read my book. Because if they had, they would, the email would be personalized, they'd be sharing their experience. And so this one person was like, wanted a link to my book, and I sent them a link to my catalog because I'm a publisher. And I think that's another thing that I think is funny is like they're messaging me on my social media, on my publishing social media. And it's like you can see it's a publisher. And so he wanted a link, and I sent my catalog, and it made him mad. He wanted like an actual book link. So I was like, all right. So I sent him a link to my book, because that's what he asked for. But the title told him how I was feeling at the time, and he just didn't reply after that. But I thought it was funny because, I was dealing with kind of some stupidity.
Yeah, but it gives also really good advice and different perspectives on people and how to deal with people. For me, it was like really eye-opening.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm glad.
yeah, it was quite some things were very eye-opening, but it's like I think everybody can use this because like so many people is like walk around here, but it's like, what is this reality? Like it's strange. Like for some people, it's like everything is normal, but for like there's like I think we're the glitches. They're like, what is happening here? What is happening here? Like this that some things don't make sense.
Yeah, and when I'm on like social media and I'm seeing how people are fighting about a particular topic, it always reminds me of my book. Because everybody thinks the other person is stupid, and it's just we deal with a lot of stupid. So,
Yeah. And
you
also
know,
lots of times people will just out of good intention, you want to help each other.
yeah. It Yeah, I wrote it to be simple. I wanted it to be easy to understand and for people to use it. And, I hope to someday be in a very visible position so I can sit out there and read my book and just have everybody crack up on social media. But anyway,
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. I think I might also gonna do that. I did it already a couple of times when I was proofreading my books, because
hmm
when I was sharing it, I could also hear it myself, and then
yeah.
also got like advice from the people on my TikTok. So it
hmm
was good to have that feedback, and while I was listening to it myself, I could change it to have the last version. So I think it's a good way of once your book is ready to share it, but even though if you're like people, if you're still writing it to review it.
Oh, yeah. I think that was a really good practice. And I actually worked on my book for like 3 years. So
Oh wow.
reading it, rereading it, multiple rounds of editing. And I I'm sure it kind of, annoyed people after a while how much I was working on it, but I actually haven't gotten, I mean, there might be issues, but I haven't gotten any feedback of something being like wrong in the book, grammar errors or whatever.
I'm
And
gonna
that's been
watch.
nice to see. Did you find something?
No, I probably I would have let you know, but I'm proofreading a book from a friend as well now.
Mhm.
But that's it's quite some things I need to take out. But for you, I can't even remember that I saw anything because like
Oh, good.
I was like when I did my work, previous work, I needed to see reports also, not only like if they were like in the law side was good, and
Yeah.
but also if it was grammatically good. But that's in Dutch, so my English is like I'm still improving. But that's why I also I wrote all my books in English, and two of them are now translated in Dutch. So yeah, I would like to in the future have all my books like in all languages.
That's awesome. I mean, so I'm familiar with learning a foreign language. In my case, it was Russian. And I spoke it for 2 years and I'm fluent, but
We have an
I couldn't do a
agent here. We
video.
have an
No, but
who's
I
like
couldn't do
who's like an
a
American
podcast or
army,
something like that.
a
It's
American
it's hard to
army in
speak a foreign
Russia.
language.
Sorry.
Yeah, I get that all the time. I know.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, I mean, how often do you talk with an American who knows Russian? So it's fun.
Not very often, but it
I
is
guess
fun
so.
when I'm like at the grocery store and somebody walks by me and they are Russian and they're like speaking to their kids or something. And I'm like, like because every once in a while, you see somebody. But Yeah, I don't get to
Yeah.
practice too much.
Yeah, I really love languages. I really love language and how you can express things in different languages and have things coming across. So, I started with one girl was going um, translate the one my book Whispers of the New Earth into Spanish. But I really feel
Okay.
now I think I need to do that myself. Learn better Spanish and then do it myself because I only know the interpretation. Because if someone else
Ah,
translates it, they just see the words and change the words. But yeah, you also need someone to do the interpretation. But I think a good translator understands it.
yeah, actually, I noticed that when we were taking your book through the editing process, like the things that you would accept and you would reject from the suggested changes, I was like, you're really thinking about, what this means. What am I trying to communicate? Because the words do matter.
Yeah,
There's subtle differences between the words, and it feels different if you say it one way versus another way, and you know,
and I also have that when I'm like in what frequency I am, like how I feel it. So
hmm
if I'm in a better frequency and I read it again, then I feel like, oh, this would be better here. So,
yeah,
but I'm with the other books that I have, I don't necessarily change them all the time. But if I have certain new insights for information, then I can update it. That's why I also like it that I have them yeah, readily available, that I sometimes update it. But it's
yeah.
like if it's like poetry, it stays the same. But if it's like information about certain subjects, or like health, and you learn new things, then it's like that. Those like I want to update sometimes.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's that way for every author. Once you finish the book, you're like, oh, if only I'd included, you know, but whatever.
Yeah, but it's I think nowadays I can you can let it go. I can let go. In the past, I was like I was days busy with like one little article that they asked to write and on the of the paper of the from the personnel from the people working somewhere in the where
hmm
I worked, and they had like oh
Yeah.
do you want to make a little article, and I was like I don't know how many hours I was just making an article and changing the letters. It's like no,
Yeah. Wow. It
yeah.
is easier now because like you can go on if you have like an online article, sometimes you can edit it and it just makes the changes immediately, digitally, and you're just done and that's it. Whereas maybe back in the day, it's like once it was printed, that was it.
Yeah, but it's
So,
like now you have so a lot of times more like long form content apps
hmm
as well, like Substack.
hmm
Because like mostly I do short things there, and then I was like, yeah, just check my books. But people make like really long articles also on there. But it's also Substack. I also like it because it's not so censored as other platforms.
Yeah. That's another thing you deal with is every platform's different. Some of them censor, some of them, you wonder if they're just like kind of spying on you, or, whatever the subtle differences are. And so got to kind of find the spots that are right for you and the companies that operate the way that you agree with.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that is also more and more you find those companies, you find those people that have the good intentions, and then you can build that together. And that is really beautiful. And I see that happening now more and more. That I feel I meet not only people, but also a lot of times like people that work in like companies, and you can collaborate together and do even better things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see
That
that
was like
coming together.
collaboration. I was gonna say collaboration is one of the things that I think is really important is, you know, um, you can make more working with somebody than you can do on your own. And so like here we are making some content. I couldn't do this without, making a call with you. So I love that. And that was something that I thought was missing in general in the publishing space was the feeling of like collaborating with the publisher, the connection to the product and the process. You know, sometimes the way publishers operate is it's like you send them your stuff and then they control everything, how it's edited, how the what like where they make the book cover and you only have a few choices and that's it. Whereas like in your case with your book, you already knew what image you wanted to use. And why should I force you to use a different image when that was the one that you wanted to represent your book. And so, it has the right feel and the personal touch, and I love that. So,
Yeah, and your company helped again with finding a better font than I had, like the letters type. So I was and also the place where to put it. So it's like it really helped shape it. So it was really helped like shaped together, and that was really nice. And I really
yeah.
liked that.
I really feel like it comes out better when it's a mixture of us working together, because like we'll be like, well, what about this? But then you're also like, what about that? And obviously the author knows their book best. So, I'll make suggestions, but it's like I don't want to decide how to represent your book. I mean, you're the one that wrote it. So anyway, I think it's a better process and it's more fun, which is what's important.
Yeah, but it's also anybody, like you find out like anybody can write a book about like you said, like there's so many books written right now, so anybody can write a book about anything right now, especially with like the new technology with AI. You can just have an idea and you can make a book about that. How, yeah, what is that? What do you think about like the AI using that as a tool?
So I don't personally have a problem with it. Sometimes though with AI, the only thing that bothers me is if somebody's acting like they created this thing completely on their own, but it was made completely with AI. So I think it's great if people are honest, like, oh, I used AI on the cover or I used AI to edit my book or whatever, just like keep it honest. I
Mhm.
also think though, AI is easier sometimes, but I think there's going to be this rise. Obviously, there is this rise in AI content, but at some point people are going to start craving content that is completely AI free, like just the human feel. And so I think there will be like a rise, and then somebody will publish a great book that's 100% AI free, and everybody's just going to love it, because it's going to feel so much more real. Right
Who's
now it's like
AI?
a combination. A lot of book covers are made with AI, but the book itself is written, by the author, and
Yeah.
vice versa. So like, I don't know.
And it's also nice that you can combine your idea with AI or make a mixture of it, and that is also like you can see what kind of different things you can use. We were like this week we were like at a cafe where they had where there were like Star Wars fans, so I had
Mhm.
lightsabers, so it was
Oh, I bet you that was fun.
So we made a picture of that with the two of us, and then I put it into an AI app. Super cool is that app. It's called Super Cool. So I posted
Yeah.
in there, and I say like, make this like it's real Star Wars. But the real one, we did the real life picture that they made into the Star Wars figure, so it was a bit corny. It didn't really like look like it, but the animated one was really funny. So now I've animated Star Wars picture from us.
Yeah. AI can do that. Sometimes it makes great stuff. Other times you put something in, you're like, that is not what I'm going to be using.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Sometimes it's also really creepy. So yeah. So that's why you always need to check. I really feel like you always need to check in and check what is the intention you're doing it with, what do you want to make, and also especially when you're asking questions, that don't always put what it says like higher than you, like you're still your own authority, and that you don't go doing things that you would normally not do, or you sometimes yeah, you hear also like it's good to not put that above you.
yeah, you kind of have to train the chat and maintain control. It's like, no, you're helping me. It's not, the AI isn't in charge. And so, but it can be really helpful, and ChatGPT is getting better. I don't know if you even remember some of the stuff it would do just a couple months ago. It's gotten a lot better. So
Yeah, and yeah, it's interesting what you can do with it. And yeah, with everything combined, like I also really love Canva. You can also do so
yeah.
much in there. It's such a great design tool.
Yeah, I love that it has a good free version. So it's very useful with the full free version. And then if you want more, obviously you can pay for the higher level features. Like I have a company subscription, because it's helpful. But even the free version I've used for years.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. And yeah, but it also it feels like everything what you're doing, it like it's almost like once you're in the flow, it everything creates like you have that creation energy that you want to create, like whatever it is in the moment, like books, like even if it's food, just like ideas, videos, like I feel that can only expand. You have like more inspiration and more things that you think, oh, we can also do this and this.
Yeah. It's hard to choose between the things. Like my problem is wanting to write all 20 of my books at once, and you just can't do that. But
So you have also still like in your head, like I wanted to have like 20 more books coming.
oh, I have a whole huge set of notes in my phone of all these ideas, and it takes me like 2 to 3 years to write a book, especially with how busy I am and small kids and stuff. And so it's like, and plus I want it to be perfect, so I take lots of effort. It's a lot of time, but eventually I'll get to all of them, or I won't. I don't know.
It's also something beautiful to create a legacy. It's something
Yeah.
you leave behind that will always be there. Also, yeah, that's really beautiful also.
Yeah, I mean, I do definitely need to publish something else because I don't want my legacy to just be stupid.
Yeah, because they
So
like it's
got a
stupid.
couple, got to get a couple books out, so there's some variety.
Yeah, the people from the secret think like, no, no, that you can't like because then it's your brain reads stupid. Saying
Yeah,
like which are like saying positive and negative. And that says like the brain doesn't see that. So it's like, but nowadays more and more things like people say like, oh, this, like you pronounce it this and this language and this language. It's like, and that's why they also created all these different language. So we keep having miscommunications and stuff from different and can't even talk with the neighbors of our own, from your country.
oh yeah, differences in culture, what words mean, how people say things, and it's totally different. And sometimes you didn't mean any harm, but people take it a different way than you expected, and you're like, ah, it's yeah,
It's not easy, and also deal with each other because like it's also with like everybody has different trauma, so you will trigger anybody whatever you say. Like there's always something that like the bigger the group, the more you will trigger someone who is there. And but it's like it's not easy like people need to like be responsible themselves and say it like, hey, this wounded me here, or I have this. But a lot of people don't know that. They just get angry for what you're saying. And
hmm
that's why I really feel I hope to that people more understand their own um, how they work, huh? So get to know yourself. Know yourself is the most important thing in this world. And
yeah.
I really feel like in your book you give a lot of tools to deal with it.
Yeah, it's actually been really interesting, since obviously since I run a publishing company, I see authors at the book signings, and you have some books they sell really well online, but they don't really do well at book signings. You have ones that do really well at book signings and online they just kind of slow here or there a little bit here and there. And then in like my case, I've actually at book signings, I'll get made fun of when I try to sell my book. And people will, give me a hard time. And sometimes people will take my book, they'll walk around, look at it. I don't know, maybe like they get the general idea and then they'll bring it and give it back. And I'm thinking like, no, no, you need a copy. And uh but I guess I don't know. It's been fun seeing the comments and um just how people experience it. A lot of people think it's a really good like gag gift. You'll give it to a friend, just kind of like, here you go. But
Yeah, I think that's brilliant, and also as a gift, like as a fun gift, it's a it's a good one.
it's kind of
It
funny.
brings in like a
And
fun gift, and it's like, and the other side it brings other things as well.
what I love about your book when I'm at book signings is people like when they look at it, they really, I don't know, they like really look at it and they read it and you can see them feeling something. And I'm always happy when somebody buys it. I'm like, because it's such a good book, but it's just you know, people sometimes they just browse and then they keep moving and I don't know, like they don't feel like they have the money, but I'm like, you need to buy this.
Yeah, yeah, but it's this reality makes it also so it's so crazy that people think like, oh, I can't buy this, but even like, but it's like people nowadays don't even have $10, maybe $10 for book anymore, and that's also sad. Because before people always had like $10 for at least a book or a CD, yeah, CD or DVD.
Mhm.
You don't have to buy these anymore, or like rent like videos. Like you can do streaming and everything. It's like nowadays certain things don't have to cost money, and then this is something that will always stay, so you can give to other people. But on the other side, for $1 or $2, you can get any ebook on Amazon nowadays. That's also possible, but yeah, that should be like I think that can be possible for people, but it's also like a lot of people don't. I think a lot of people don't even want to be bothered by going to Amazon and finding out how it works, and
Yeah.
you first have to subscribe, and then you have a password and your email, and then you have this number, and then that number, and this verification. It's like they make it more
Yeah.
difficult and difficult, no?
Yeah. I think you're touching on something important. It's like everything, I feel like everything is very expensive just across the world. Everything's getting very costly.
Yeah.
And then you deal with the problem of 2.2 million new books published every year, which is a ton of competition. That's a lot of content. And I think sometimes people have so many options, they don't know what to do. And they're just kind of like, and they don't have $10 for a book, you know? Um, but it's like, well, if you don't read anything, then you're not going to have new thoughts. You're not going to learn new things. And um, it's hard managing, as a publisher, it's hard managing expectations for authors, because, they're competing with all those other books. And sometimes, that author doesn't have a following or anybody that
Mhm.
knows about their book yet. And so it's like you're pushing the book out to, where there's no existing audience. In your case, you have your own audience. You do lots of
Mhm.
social media. You have all your friends and contacts, and so it's easier to share about your stuff. And other people don't have any social media hardly at all, and so
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
like glad that, and then also people that are like enthusiastically share review. And one woman I really like that one who says like it was like a hug in paperback, one big hug
it
in
was like,
paperback. Oh,
oh, yeah, it's like, yeah, just you know. The reviews are great, but then also people are crazy. Like I had some guy that you'll think this is great. I had some guy, you saw my Facebook post
yeah, I think
that
so. Yeah,
he called me and like was accusing me of being from Pakistan, and I'm like, do I sound like I'm from Pakistan? And it just like attacked my business. And I think he was mad that he thought he had found a spelling error in the name of my company, but the name is a word play
mm.
on a word that I took the word and I changed it so I could trademark it. And so I think once he realized he was wrong, I think he got mad and just wanted to, I don't know, take it out on me or something. And you just can't let that kind of stuff get to you.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think
People
also,
are crazy. You never
but
know.
everybody can everywhere put a review out everywhere. I don't know if you saw that Siri uploads. Looks like everybody they have come in contact with, they have to review them how the service was. And on one hand, that's crazy, but on the other hand, maybe that will be the future that you're like, okay, ping, ping, it was good service. And
Yeah, well, even when you go get service, sometimes they'll immediately send you an email like, please review us. But the worst is when I see people leaving reviews, and it's like, you didn't go use that service. You just left a review.
yeah.
So, like, come on. But
Yeah, and people get triggered by anything nowadays. So like you just have to put one thing wrong on your any social media, and people will start attacking you. Yeah, you never know. This is really crazy. The times we're in, and I also want to let people know, like, hey, sometimes it's your own shit and it's your own like projections, and maybe there's things out there that you didn't know yet, or that you're still learning, and we are all learning, but at least we are open yeah, of that, of the thing, getting new information.
yeah, I feel like the ability to be open to learning and to not let everything affect you, like let other people's opinions affect you is a really important underdeveloped skill in a lot of people. It's like you're not going to grow if you're not willing to learn or willing to admit when you're wrong. And you just got to take in opinions from both sides and try to find the truth in between them. And so I love the truth seeking vibe that you have on your social media where you're trying to, expose something or, because there's just a lot of disinformation, a lot of lies, honestly, or
Yeah, but even if I don't know the answers, I give different perspectives. So
yeah.
people, this can be there and that can be there. And sometimes I also post something like I'm not fully sure if it's even real or not. But even in my own, I have like my own, it's called Misshellbreaker in Normieland. I share like the news from different perspectives in a funny way. And so yeah, and we also we also make merchandise from that one, and other ones that I make also a YouTube with my partner, and we
Mhm.
also make videos of that, and we have not only the books, but we also have merchandise, but with t-shirts that have like a meaning. So we like that as well. Like not only like have cool designs, walk around with cool designs, but have them really with a meaning and put something in the world, like wherever you are. Start like not only there's people on social media, but it's like wherever you are, you can like let people know, like, hey, this is not cool. Yeah.
Well, I think you're also touching on something important that nowadays, with certain things, you can just pump out content or pump out a product that doesn't really have meaning. And I think people are searching for meaning. And so when you see somebody make something that really has a lot of personal touch and meaning to it, people are like, oh, it's, because I mean, like if you start a t-shirt business, you can just pump out designs that, mean nothing, or you can see somebody make a design that really matters. And you
Mm.
can totally see it in books. I mean, this took a really long time to write. It was a ton of work. Whereas, I didn't just get into ChatGPT and be like, write me a book, So you can tell when you see stuff like that, or it's just
Yeah, and I
not
particularly liked
fine.
your stories. You share a lot of famous stories from other things, but I particularly like your own stories in the book.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it more personal. I couldn't find a good example in my life for every single aspect of the book. So I did use like some historical examples and things. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of personal stories in there.
Yeah, really, those are most the funny ones and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's really,
I tried to make it funny.
yeah, it was definitely. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this book. I put all the links underneath here. Definitely recommend this book. Also, if you're looking for a publisher, you can contact them. If you know me personally, send me a DM and I will bring you in contact with Adam. And this is all like, yeah, let you know, like it's not, it doesn't have to be far away, or you can really make, yeah, a good, yeah, yeah, deal with you, like because like really you can say like you have things a bit different than the big companies, and also you offer other things that self-publishing not does. So I think it's really good
Yeah.
to contact you if the people really looking for something. So yeah, I set all the contacts underneath here. And yeah, look at his book. You're also welcome. I put my links for my books also here. But know that it's like there's so many people out there sharing their stories, and your story matters too. Your perspective matters.
Yes, it
What you've
does.
been through. No, that yeah. So yeah, share it. You can share it to the people. It's gonna be seeing this.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on here. And I just try to make publishing fun. I think publishing should be fun and it should be the type of thing where you feel like you have a strong connection with the project and the publisher, because that's what I thought was missing. And so that's what I try to offer.
Yeah, and especially for the first time, people like we don't know what to do when they want to make a book, and yeah, there's because it's like I started and it's like there's so many things. I was happy to have some guidance, especially with the first one. I have some guidance how it works, but I feel like
Oh yeah, there's
there's so,
so many
so
different
much more.
pitfalls, so many different things, And I noticed a lot of times that authors have questions about stuff that, they just don't know how the publishing process works or how the industry works. And even if somebody doesn't want to work with me, they just want to self-publish, you can still pick my brain. I'm happy to answer questions. So,
Oh,
feel free
that's really
to DM
nice.
me or whatever, you know.
Yeah, so I put all the information down here, and that's really nice of you, yeah, to help people like that. So thank you for being here, and good luck with all your future books that you're going to be writing, and yeah,
Thanks.
and with your publishing company and everything. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yay! Bye bye, lovely people.
Bye. Bye.